Hello. Hello. Hi. It's been a wonderful week. I have not been posting anywhere at all. Personal choice. Just not been feeling it. This cancer season vibe has just been telling me, girl, you need to invest in your home life and creating a loving environment in here instead of messing with technology in the matrix right now. So that's what I've been up to. With that, this week's tarot card resonates quite a bit. I'm going to move this away because I actually don't want it to be that in my face. Last week's card, the angel card was the Nine of Raphael. We had Raphael the week before that too, so we're actually on a triple Raphael streak at this week, guys, which means the Archangel Raphael is really trying to mingle with us. There's something about his specific energy that we need to utilize and could benefit us during this current phase in our life that we're going through. So Archangel Raphael, keep that in mind. I haven't even told you which card. I already gave it away that it's Raphael, but I haven't told you which card it is yet. But that's what we got last week, and it was about the Nine of Raphael, and I think it said it was just like a genie. It was like make a wish. If you could make a wish, and it would just like magically come true. Like you don't have to think about the context or the details of it or anything. Just one simple wish, and it would manifest right there before your eyes. What would you really ask for? Most of us don't allow ourselves to open up and really tune into our intuition and the infinite possibilities that are actually available to us when we let go and kind of just, let your inner child kind of play with stuff a little bit. So I felt like that was a perfect card last week because we're kind of coming out of this period, I feel like, of discovering that we actually do have some power. And once you have a little tiny taste of that, there's no coming back to it, if that makes any sense. Once you've made that wish and there's actually a little tiny spark of this actually could be possible and I'm in control of it, like I can be the one to manifest it. Oh my goodness, magical things start happening when you really start holding the reins. So that was really, really cool. Last week was really insightful and inspiring for me. I feel like I just keep going higher and higher and higher and just discovering new things about myself that makes you just let go and really discovering a lot about ourselves, which I think is what Cancer season is kind of all about. Just really tuning into your feelings and your fifis and expressing them even when that's all you've been doing like forever these past couple of days. It's just kind of the vibe, and you kind of just gotta go through it, right? So if that's how you're feeling, know that it's normal. That's how I'm feeling too. The tarot card that we got last week was the Page of Swords, which was all about just new ideas, really exciting, fun ideas. Once you let go of a limiting belief about yourself or a limiting belief about the world or anything, the automatic response to that is a new perspective of just about anything around you. It could just be about a particular subject or your whole worldview, regardless of depending on whatever belief you had beforehand and how limiting it was. Once you break out of the bubble, there's like this whole new world that you have to go out and experience and realize that it's not nearly as scary as you built it up to be in your mind. So the Page of Swords is all about new ideas that are just budding, and they're like the seedlings of all of these crazy, fun, inspiring ideas that are maybe just coming to spud up a little bit, and they're growing like the little tiny heads. And it's a time where you really have to nourish and just feed that seed, or else, it's gonna die. You give it any kind of doubt or fear or sense of, is this even possible? Should I even be watering you? Are you even gonna, be worth my time? All of those kinds of thoughts that we have about like ourselves and the world around us are clouding the reality. So when that bubble pops, Page of Swords, you get all of these cool, fun ideas, inspiring ideas of things you've never allowed yourself to even really go there because the old self thought that it wasn't worth pondering. It would just break your heart to have all of these wonderful fantasies about what could happen, because then you'd just be disappointed, right? So we stopped dreaming. And the Page of Swords is the exact opposite of that. It is the dreamer, adolescent boy who has never had his heart crushed before. So he's just fiercely, going out and pursuing what he knows is his mission. Beautiful, beautiful card last week. So that's not even this week's card. This week's card is the aftermath of that, though, if you have decided this week that you wanted to water the seeds instead of stomp on them. Cool? Alright, I'm going to tune in here and then we'll get started. I already mentioned that our angel card this week is in the theme of Raphael. So, you already know that, but you don't know which one. Last week was the 9 of Raphael. This week is the 10 of Raphael. It's like we just went from one page to the next. And here we see these lovely people having a picnic. A man and a woman. They're having a little lunch outing, and there's a beautiful rainbow above them, and they're under a nice shady tree. There's children playing in the background. There's like a nice gazebo behind them as well. I don't know if you can really see it. It's a little hard. And it says, "Love and blessings fill your whole life. Harmonious relationships with family members, and happily ever after." We made it to Nirvana, you guys. How does it feel? 10 of Raphael. Love and blessings are filling your life. This is a beautiful moment where it seems as though you have it all. Your family is loving and happy. You may still be working hard, but there's a feeling of great satisfaction and peace when you do come home. Your relationships with your children or other family members are peaceful and harmonious. Relationships can be a lot of work, but they are so worth it. Thank you for the follow. Your hopes and dreams are within reach. If it's a beautiful home that you're seeking, know that you are on the right path. Additional meaning of this card is happy romantic relationships, trustworthy relationships, the end of stress. The end of stress. Can you imagine if one day you're just like, I'm going to break my agreement with stressful thinking, and then you just set it down and you just never go down there ever again, because you don't have to. You can if you want to, right? Okay, so yeah, 10 of Raphael. Guys, this is the third time that we have gotten Raphael in the past 3 weeks. So Archangel Raphael is speaking to us. Do some meditations with him. All of the ones that I have done so far this week have been like, I don't know, they just felt like everything that I needed in that moment. Which is exactly what these cards are supposed to be doing, guiding us to the things that we need in the moment, right? So it's perfect. I love Raphael as well. He's like my favorite angel. Maybe that's why he's coming up so much. Maybe it's a favoritism thing. Do you think? I love all the angels. It's all just energy at the end of the day. Okay, so our tarot card this week. What do you think it is? After all of these new ideas bursting at the seams, what comes after that? Boom. What is this? This is the Three of Wands. I think we've gotten this card in reversed before, no? I think we did. During the first period of us doing the Twitch lives, I think we got this card, but it was in reversal. And so I don't think I even did a lot of research on this card of what it meant upright. I kind of just went straight into the reversal, which is kind of funny that I did that back then, now that I have the foresight, which is actually what this card is kind of all about. Foresight in some context. But yeah, just get a good look at it. What's the first thing that piques your mind? There's really not much to see. Most of, what they want to show you is pretty flat out in the open. There's not very many hidden things. There is one weird thing about this card as far as the imagery goes. But before we get into that, we're going to just talk a little bit about the basic information that goes along with this card beyond the illustrations. This is represented by the fire element. Boom, boom, boom. Fire. Fire is all about, our passions and our adventures, going on adventures. And sometimes with like the Suit of Wands, your creative endeavors, your being able to manifest something but also enjoy the journey towards it, I think. And all it connects to the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But this card is specifically connected to Aries. Aries is the exact first sign of the zodiac. So you kind of think about Aries, they have a lot of energy. If you think about like a toddler or like a small child that just like they're so new to the world and everything is just so new and exciting, and so they just want to get into everything and they don't care if they make a huge ass mess because that's all part of the experience, right? That's the whole Aries energy, and that can be a little overwhelming for some people who aren't of that like-mindedness. But that's the energy of Aries. I feel like it's this whole new, just kind of naive, adolescent energy of excitement. And sometimes, you're not always thinking with your head because you're too busy just doing and, having fun and whatever. But, yeah. There's a lot of positive to the Aries. It's the passion and the drive and the dedication to something too. In the light of an Aries, that's what this card really represents. It in upright, of course, it's the light of the Aries. It is when they have an idea and they're super excited about something and nothing will stand in their way to achieve what it is that they see in their mind, because like how could it? They have so much fire coming out of their mouth all the time. I don't know. So yeah, that's what an Aries is like to me, especially within this card, the vibe that I got personally. Aries represents the planet of Mars. Ooh. Planet of Mars, which is the planet of war. Right? We love war. Conflicts and, just drama. Right? Creating ruffling stuff, like, not keeping things stagnant and falling down, and like actually like having stuff move and bump around with each other, right? Something also told me that online when I looked up some information that said this card can also represent the sun, but I didn't know if that was true or not. But I didn't know why they would say that, so I just thought that I would mention that as well. It was like some sources that I got said that this card can also represent Mars and the sun, which the energy behind it kind of makes sense to me when I think about it. In a yes or no reading, it is a yes, and of course it represents the number 3. And the number 3 is like the number that creates numbers, if that makes sense. Like if you have one, then there's just one of the one. And then if you have two, there's like, okay, there's me and then there's you. But then when there's three, there's like, okay, there's a whole lot that we're working with now instead of just this. So once you have three, I don't know, there's a whole different energy of community and synchronicity and the trio. I don't know, there's something about the number three that just creates a lot of connection and alignment. I don't know, I'm not quite sure. I should have done more research on the number three now that I think about it, because I feel like it's one of the few numbers that I don't know the most about myself. Hello, thank you for being here. And other than that, there's really not much else, so we can get into the illustrations. Okay? Let's look at this guy. Somebody pointed this out, and he's dressed like the magician. We see this guy. This is a dude. And he's dressed like the magician, so I don't know if he is like the representation of the magician himself, or if it's just a coincidence that he's dressed similar to them, but he's got like, like the red and the green robe and the little crown above his head, and that's how the magician is dressed. So he's standing at the edge of this cliff. He's at a cliff, actually. He's on the edge of a cliff. And his back is turned from us, so we only see the back of him. We can only see the back of his head and his lovely cloth. And he's looking out into the vast mountains that are super far, far away. And he's watching these three ships that are sailing. That's actually a body of water beneath him. Underneath the cliff, it's actually a body of water for some reason. It is in the color of bright orange, as if it was like a lake of fire, which is probably just helping represent, the wands and the Aries and the passion. It's not really water. Like, there's never going to be a lot of water probably in a wands card, because it's all about the fire. So even when there is a body of water, like a huge body of water in this card, the water just happens to look like molten lava. But that's what that looks like. It's this steady and fast-paced movement, passionate, calculated movement going through the water. And there are three ships passing each other, kind of representing, I think, like exchange and trade and obviously travel. Movement and progression, and there are three wands right where the man is. You can see, like, surrounding him there are three wands, and they're planted. They seem quite sturdily in the ground, and he's firmly grasping one of them, and he's like, it looks like he just like took one and he just put it in the ground, and he's like, yes, this goes here. And he's just sitting there, looking out into the ocean and the mountains, reflecting on his commitment to his mission. Reflecting on his commitment to his mission. From so high up on this cliff, he can see everything coming his way. Challenges and opportunities and blessings. So this card overall, that's the whole illustration of that. We see the guy, he has his wands, he's up there on the cliff looking down, and he can see all of the ships, if there's any enemies coming by, or if there's any friends, if there's any goods coming in, and he can see from where he is, because of how high he's gotten himself in his mind, and how much he's prepared himself mentally, physically, for everything that he's ever wanted, his true values and his mission in life. He's cultivated such a strong plan for everything, that from where he is now, he can almost see from his vantage point of where he is, kind of almost what he needs to do next, because he can kind of see vibrationally what's coming to him based on where he is now, if that makes sense. So it's a very, very beautiful card. It's a very positive card. There's really no shadow to this card at all. There's a little tiny bit of, I think, but even though that's the reversal of this card. The reversal of this card is having complete no faith in yourself, in your dreams, in your nothing. You're doubting yourself and your abilities and your own gifts and your own mission and your deserving and worthiness of all of it. That's what it means when this card is in reverse. So there's not even like an inch of that really in the upright version of this. But I think it's always something to, keep in mind that it's a continual process. It's something that you have to do. It's not just something it's not a goal that you accomplish one day and you're like, yay, like, I never have to think about this ever again. I will always be good, right? No, it's something that you have to, it's self-regulating. It's monitoring yourself and your emotional state, your mental state, everything. You are in complete awareness and synchronization with you. The one thing in this world that you actually have control over. So, it's a beautiful week. It's going to be a fucking beautiful week for us. And I already know that for me personally, because I know I'm going to make it that. But the key words to look out for this week and to be open to open your heart to this week are progress, expansion, literally foresight, overseas opportunities, momentum, growth, looking ahead, travel, self-confidence, new beliefs, pleasant outcomes, experiencing life, spreading your wings, new adventures, trade, travel. I put travel down like 3 times. Romance, fortune favoring the brave. Fortune favors the brave. I really like that. With this card, I feel like you look at this guy. Oh, that's reversed. You look at this guy. He's set up at his post. He's a powerful person, and he's aware of that. I feel like in this card, he's really sitting up there, and he's like, wow, this is really all mine. And everyone around here, people who are not connected to their spirit, it makes sense why they run around this world like chickens with their head cut off. Because they don't have that foresight. They do not have that underlying bliss and comfort and safety, inner knowing deep within them that they're good no matter what happens. But when you tap into your spirit, your true authentic self, the aspect of yourself that can never die, no matter what you do to the body, there's just this sense of everything is unfolding exactly how it's being programmed to, whatever that means to you. And I mean, I should probably get into that a little bit more, as to everything that you see, good or bad, is unfolding because there is momentum vibrationally going into that direction. And until that vibration changes or it's shifted, then you're going to keep having the same outcome, right? That works for, it's science. It goes for everything. Madness is doing the same thing and expecting a complete different outcome. So that's the energy of this card. Is this guy is discovering he has that light within himself. He has stopped looking for something outside of him to finally make him feel like everything is okay. He realizes that it's within him, and he can wake up every single morning and tap into it with his own divine free will. And once he does that, every decision that he makes in the world is so much easier. It makes so much more sense. It feels so much more in alignment with his heart. He feels completely like, yes, all of this is just coming together, and I'm not really having to do too much except for have very deliberate focus on what it is I am working towards and what it is that I really, really want, you know? And so you're going to look crazy. I feel like a lot of people think this guy is crazy. I don't know. Because you have to, fortune favors the brave. It's that phrase of fortune favors the brave. You have to, if you're afraid to be brave, you have to have fear, a little bit of, hesitance and be like, But the bravery is what separates letting the fear decide for you or not, if that makes sense. Bravery is that step of being like, okay, yes, this is new, everything, I'm just embracing the unknown, and I'm still going for it. Because sitting around and not doing nothing is worse than doing anything. Anyway, so yeah, that's the vibe of this week. I hope you're excited for this week. In a general context, this week, this could just mean that you might experience some sort of freedom from some really limiting beliefs, maybe some past conditional stuff that you find yourself immersed in. Just finally, for some reason, it could be something as simple as just like realizing, oh my God, I really can't stand complaining about this all the time in my head anymore. I don't like the space this takes up in my mind to even just think about this. I'm just going to let it all go now. It could be as simple as that, as just recognizing how uncomfortable it is to carry the negative dialogue, even if it's quote unquote true and reality, and that's what's happening. Thinking about it all the time, even when you're in the safety of your own bedroom all alone, is only hurting you. And it's sucking you of your vital, 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 powerful energy. Oh my God, you don't even know how powerful you are, bro. If only you knew. So, if you do that this week, congratulations. And I love you. And I hope that you start experiencing the grace that I have been through this week. Through that. I know it's hard to become aware of uncomfortable and gross things in yourself. But it's so fun once you become okay with that. Because once you become okay with that, it's a simple switch of once I'm aware of it, I can change it. Once I'm aware of it and I accept it completely for all that it is, then I can change it. You can't change it from a space of just needing it to change, though. Unfortunately, it is fortunate because that's how this world works. You gotta accept it with all of your heart in order to start playing with it. It's true. Anyway, this week you might also begin a new adventure, whatever that looks like for you. It's different for everybody, but whatever pops into your mind, what would you think? Like in your mind, really think and play with yourself for a little while in your mind. When you think of the word adventure, really what comes into your mind? If you were to wake up first thing in the morning and be like, I'm going to go on an adventure today, what would that even look like? Play with it. Another thing is traveling to foreign lands. Since this card has, overseas and a lot of ships coming in and out, there's a lot of just general travel, a lot of stuff happening from maybe along, not from home, or maybe not even like, maybe it's more of a metaphorical leaving a foreign country. Maybe it's like submerging yourself to a completely new emotional experience or a completely new way of thinking that's not usual to what you're usually submerging yourself to. So watching certain content that you're like, this isn't normally what I, watch, but new experiences, right? Yeah. Little things like that. Hard work paying off. How awesome. Feeling satisfied with a certain outcome. If you've been this week like really hoping that something just kind of, falls into place, and then it does, and you're like, oh my gosh, finally, right? That never happens. It can happen. It happens when, instead of you trying to force the puzzle piece, instead just feeling for the vibe of the puzzle, the already existing puzzle pieces, and figuring out where they're at so that you can find the perfect puzzle piece. It's a dance. Anyway, oh my god. Forward planning. Planning for the future. There's a lot of... That's another thing that people don't talk about a lot. Well, it's talked about a lot. But if you don't know it, then you're not going to be a match to this kind of information. When you're tapped into your spirit, crazy shit starts happening, okay? The past basically does not matter anymore. You don't think about the past too much anymore unless you're doing specific shadow work stuff and you're intentionally doing work in order to go into the past and like heal a memory. Other than that, the past really is old news. Even the present moment, honestly, is a little bit of old news, because everything that's happening right now, right now, is just a product of everything that we've been thinking prior to this moment. So even the present moment is a little bit kind of like a after effect of everything that's been going on. So life becomes a whole new game when you tap into your spirit, because once you tap into that, you'll just start getting flashes in meditation and images and these strange visions. They're so vivid. And they fill your heart with so much euphoria. You're like, what the fuck was that? And what it was a little tiny nugget of God coming down to you and giving you a taste of what your future potential could be like if you continue to do what you're currently doing, which is meditating and coming into an alignment with your true self. Ha! And you can only do this, you can only play in the realm of the future with your spirit. And it's a whole other way to experience physical reality as a human being, I will say to you, from my personal experience. But if you know, you know. So, yeah, this might be this week, you could have that experience for the first time in your life. And if so, I want you to comment down below and be like, girl, yeah, this happened. And I will send you all of my love, because it's an amazing experience. And some people go their whole lives and never, ever, ever allow themselves to become quiet enough or relax enough to really feel their authentic self moving through them. And that's what this guy is all about right now. So if you've never experienced that, I don't know what the heck's going to happen to you this week. Better prepare for it. Anyway, self-confidence. A lot of this card, when this card is in reverse, it's all about, not knowing your worth and doubting yourself and feeling unworthy. So obviously, once this card gets flipped, there's a point where the realization alternates and you're like, oh my gosh, actually all of that is not true. And that could happen this week. Just the realization of that, the development of self-confidence, or this week either that or just the progression of your self-confidence if it's already kind of started budding. Personal beliefs and power, yeah, your whole everything changes. Self-confidence, the way that you just believe about everything around you, and you just feel a lot more powerful in yourself, in your body, and where you walk around. You just feel more like you could just really suck a bitch if you needed to. Hopefully not. And it's a time to reach new horizons. Makes sense, because he's way up there in the cliff, and the horizons because of the ships passing in the night or in the day. It's daytime, so anyway, in a love reading, this is a good omen, obviously. You guys are probably experiencing a lot of success in your relationship. Maybe it's been a lot of hard work. Maybe you've been together for a fat minute and you've been going through some shit. And then last week was kind of, like the whole thing of experiencing new ideas and allowing yourself to dream a little bit and see what happens when you take that cool idea and just kind of let it go on its little fantasy. Yeah, I feel like the idea, especially if you're in a relationship, you probably had a lot of, beliefs about your relationship and about your partner that it just happens to all of us, that accumulate over time, a lot of not so nice thoughts that we have about the people that we love most, because you just spend so much time with them. Things like that just kind of build up and build up. Maybe there's a huge release of like recognition of just how fucking amazing this person you're with is, and you get to relish in that. And maybe you guys are still like working on some stuff, but that's the cool thing when you're in your spirit and there's a challenge and there's actually like a real struggle in your life going on, but you're still connected to your spirit. You can see the beauty in everything behind, underneath all of the gunk, where it's kind of like, when you're playing Monopoly and there might be a point where you guys are really getting into the Monopoly, and you guys are, like fighting with each other. But it's like a complete lightheartedness, because that game that you guys are playing does not matter. It's just a game. And once the game's over, you guys are going to put the box in the game and put the game away. And you guys are going to go back to, being good friends. But that's what's going on here, too. That's what this whole life thing is all about. We're all just fucking Sims. And that's what it is. And so it makes life just feel like a whole lot more playful, because you realize that there's nothing really serious going on. So even when there is a lot of challenges, you know that it's all for your expansion, for one thing. It's there to help you become aware of something that you're unaware of, so that it can either be integrated or healed, or it's all to help you expand or die. Either way, you're expanding, though. So, do not fear. Easier said than done, I know. But there is nothing to fear, obviously. If your relationship is going super, super well, and you guys are, even through the struggles, seeing the power in each other and being able to respect each other, and oh my God, like have compassion and really be able to have that intimacy with each other, even when you guys, one of you or both of you, are struggling. Holy shit. Hashtag power couple, like, congratulations. Okay. Other than that, there really wasn't much. Oh, there was a thing, obviously, long distance relationships. Kind of just because there was a whole overseas type of vibe to it. Maybe you find yourself mingling with somebody super, super far away, maybe even on the other side of the damn planet. Getting a little familiar with them. And you're like, why am I fucking with somebody who's so far away? But you know what? You can't stop love. If it happens, it happens. If you're single, then this is a week to really relish and enjoy the freedom of being single. Once again. Which, is all of the fun stuff. Flirting, mingling with people, just kind of walking around like you don't really have any kind of motives and just touching people and they touch you and then you guys just never touch each other ever again. Yeah. Fun, right? Not having it's like not having romantic commitment to this. It's like being like, I'm in this space where I'm happy. I'm good where I am. I'm not really in this space where, I feel inspired to commit myself to just this. I haven't met a person that I want to commit that to. So why would I do that to somebody I don't feel that way towards? So it's just a space of like, I feel so good where I am. And I know I have a lot of love to share, I think. But it's not anything super, super crazy. Just go out and spread love to people. Like, flirt with them. Have fun with random strangers on the bus. Why not? Like, see what happens. You could be married by tomorrow. Please don't. No. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe for this week. You might have a little summer fling. Or you might meet someone through travel. So that could obviously be why it's a temporary thing, because of travel. You guys just met through a very temporary experience, and then it was just supposed to last for just a little while, and just a nice little kiss through the span of life, right? Wonderful. Wonderful for love, whether you're coupled or single this week. In money, there could be some overseas opportunities. Doing some stuff with travel for work, maybe? Expanding a company through travel. Maybe you're like going global with your McDonald's franchise or something. Oh wait, they already did that. Something like that. Maybe you are taking new job offers. Something that you're like, okay, it's not really something that I thought I'd get into, but let's give it a try. Maybe taking new job offers, meeting new people, taking a well-deserved vacation, maybe. Doing something that is out of your comfort zone, whether it is, actually getting a job or taking a nice little vacay. Either way. And then it says financial expansion as well. That's literally all it really said about it money-wise, is that you just expect from what you're doing to create a lot of financial expansion. Yay, right? Hooray! Okay, and in a health reading, it's all good. You're recovering from an illness. Recovering from something. What does it take for recovery to occur? In order for recovery to manifest, there has to be nothing in the way of that recovery. It will heal all on its own if there's nothing getting in the way of it. Meaning you. Yeah. But that is a good thing. It means that you are making peace, kind of what we were talking about before. In order to really have something go away, you have to accept it and take it as a part of yourself first and be like, you are me. You're basically me. I know how much I fucking said I hate you and I want you to go away all the time, but you're me. Just dressed in a completely different piece of clothing, or dressed as a tumor cell, or it's all you. It's all you. Crazy, right? So it's making peace with that, finally accepting it and being like, this is where I am. Completely surrendering to this present moment of the condition and how you felt about it from this point forward. And in that comes this crazy, crazy thing. And you only know once you've done it. But in that acceptance and that complete surrender comes, I mean, you hear those Christian people talk about it all the time. Once you surrender to Jesus, that's when the magic happens. I mean, they weren't wrong. They were not wrong. Their premises were a little skewed, I will say, but they weren't completely off, you know. Yeah, completely. It's giving up. It's what people call, I give up, you know. And some people feel that way when you have an illness or an injury and it just seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. There's that point where you're just like, I fucking throw in the towel. I give up. And I think we kind of have to reach that point of stop resisting it. Because you hear it all the time. That's how people talk about, oh, they're fighting cancer. Oh, they're fighting this illness. It's this, we're in battle with this thing inside myself. Yeah, cool. What a great way to go about healing. It's oppositional, and we're never going to get what we want when we go about an injury or a health condition within us from an aspect of going on in about it and being like, okay, you need to change, I need you to go away, and because you're, you know, getting in the way of blah, blah, blah. Your body is your best friend. Literally. Oh my God, I don't think I've ever said that before in my life and believed it as much as I do right now. Your body is your best friend. Temporary. You want to know why? Because it will never lie to you. Your body will never lie to you. If there's something that you're doing to yourself that is not serving you, whether it be an actual physical thing or a thought process that you keep repeating, it's going to create a physical manifestation of what it is that you're creating. How fantastic, right? What a beautiful, fantastic, marvelous creation. When you really think about how magical that is. It fucking sucks if you decide to sit in your shit. But holy cow, if you decide to take the reins, holy cow. Healing is a natural byproduct of just relaxing and allowing something to do what it does naturally without getting in the way. You're gonna heal this week. So happy for you. Thank God. I cannot wait to see you flourish. Okay, so spirituality. That's the end of this. I actually want to read to you guys a little bit of something that I found on my phone too from another website. I really, really liked it. But before we do that, spiritually speaking, with this card, this week, you're probably going to start feeling a lot more proud of yourself and pleased with yourself and feeling really positive about your spiritual progression. Literally, this is a beautiful card for anything involving your spirituality, because it is the card of getting up to that mountain, getting up at the top and seeing everything for what it really is, the reality of everything, and recognizing your power and accepting all of that. And, the whole thing about, foresight is you can create anything you want. You have to create the experience inside of yourself. So you have to really ask, what do I really, really, really want? And so, say you do want fortune, or want to have adventure. You want to have opportunities come up to you, new things. You want to have a new experience. You may not like your current circumstance of where you currently are. So with that, your only job, with that awareness of where I am is not where I want to be, your only job should be, from that day forward, to the best of your abilities, obviously. Do what you can, that you can do in order to change the circumstances, but in your mind, you need to get into meditation and mentally create an environment in your mind where you truly can experience what it is that you're wanting with as much juice that you possibly can. Like, you want to bring all your imagination that you possibly can, as vibrant as colors as you possibly can. Immerse yourself in the experience and make it as real as possible. Play with your mind. And if you do that often, what you're doing is the exact opposite of what you normally do, which is complain about the things you don't want all the time. Give all of your precious energy and attention to the crap. The stuff you keep looking at and wanting to vomit over. It's like, and there's this beautiful menu of all this food you could buy, but you just keep talking about all this fucking vomit. And you're like, why are you talking about vomit when we're gonna be having this delicious meal right here? Like, it's that person who complaining is just their natural state of being, and yet they're so miserable all the time, and they don't realize why nothing ever changes for them, or why nobody wants to hang out with them, or they get themselves in a big old cycle. But we all do it. I think we all go through those phases where our ego kind of trips us up, and we forget how powerful our thoughts are and how much they can really change things. So this week is a very beautiful, beautiful week for us to come to reality and see the magic that if you want anything, it's yours. But first, you have to create it within yourself, the seed of it. Whatever you want. What do you want?